What's up, everybody? It's Jeremy here. I'm ocean bound and I'm heading to Pleasure Bay. I have like a new lease on life after I've done this like BRM bridle conversion. The last session I had was kind of like an overpowered sesh, but I went out with this downwind board and I went out with my 1180. The downwind board made it so much easier to get up with that 1180, and the bridle conversion just made it so much more fun and predictable to fly. So this is my next session number 2 after doing that. I'm rolling up to Pleasure Bay. It's 74 degrees at the end of October here. Whoa! 6 windsurfs, 10 wingers, and 12 kiters. Dude, 10 wingers, 6 windsurfers, 12 kiters. I like those odds. That's freaking sick. So it's blowing like, I don't know, 18 right now. It's gonna be perfect for riding that 5.1 meter Parawing. I'm gonna hit it. It's gonna be great. And that's okay. Kinda like this spot anyway. All right. But it's just so warm right now, and it's just one of those sessions that I just gotta be out in the water before it hits November. You know what I'm saying? So let's just flip this around and get on the water. Here we go. It's windy. Done it, but I'm gonna try my 880 with the Parawing. Nice. And then I'm not sure, I may do the 180. Screw it, I'll do the 140. I've been doing the 140 a lot lately, so might as well. All right. Dude, it's blowing. Look at that. So I have my 880 on, but I kind of feel like it may be a 2.9 day. So, it was a good day, but there's too many fucking wingers on. Hey everybody. Hey, you know what's over? Oh, I mean, should I try this thing? I'll try the 2.8 for a hot second. So this sesh, I find myself again at P Bay, and it was your typical Pleasure Bay gusty day. I went out on the 880 in my downwind board, the first time I've used a foil so small. So that's noteworthy. And the other thing, I did initially go out on the 2.9 meter that had a modded bridle.
I think it's a bad idea, but I gotta try it. Alright, so there's like some gust areas. I'm about to come into one, but in general, I don't have enough on the 2.8. If I had like a 1350, maybe 2.9.
So I got up after a few attempts when a gust came through. So I'm on the 880, on the flat, 140 tail, totally a triumph.
Seems like I just needed a good gust. Because this is insane for me. The 2.9 meter and the 880 with the dart tail like blows me away. I'm up on foil right now. It's pretty awesome. It's nice because this isn't pulling me as hard as the 5.1 meter would. Oh, I'm stoked. Second time ever on the 2.9 bridle conversion, and it's riding awesome.
But I feel like I was constantly pumping to stay up and to go upwind and whatnot. I'm sure that, you know, if there were some bumps out there, I'd probably get some breaks and I could harness the vert. But, you know, while it was a triumph to be out in something so small with the 2.9, it was work.
It's easier to not be hooked up. I do think like I'm making this work, so this is good. I do think the 5.1 would be easier power-wise. I just have more like instant power. No, this is a lot of power though. I mean, it's a lot of wind. This is a lot of wind.
So I decided to go back in and grab the 5.1. My buddy Clark was determined to get some downwind paddle practice, so he was there with his downwind board and the big foils. So I passed this 2.9 meter Maliko off to him with 1675 foils so he could try it for the first time. I grabbed my 5.1 meter and decided to stay on the 880. This all just made sense at the time, but you know, by the time I got back on the water, the wind just seemed to ramp up, and it was like average 25, gusting to 30. I love winging with power, you know, what could go wrong? So riding the Parawing powered up, my first thoughts were questioning how durable it is. Will the canopy stretch? Will the lines stretch? When is it too much wind? When will these bridle lines just start tearing off the canopy? These are the things that are, you know, totally going through my head. You just don't have to worry about strings and attachments with a regular wing.
That is pretty interesting. How jacked I am, how powered. And then look, it does this weird accordion thing. Kind of condenses a little in the middle. That's fine. I think it's fine.
Well, it seemed to be fine, at least durability-wise. I was so lit. I was okay at first, you know, mowing the windy lawn of P Bay, using the harness, watching the characteristics of the wing, making jibes and whatnot. I saw Clark go straight downwind on his first try, so I like beeline it over at him to try to tell him to like angle sidewind in order to get up. By the time I got to Clark, he was like pretty much across the bay, totally downwind. So I give him some pointers, hang out for a little while, and as he made it to shore to do a walk upwind, I decided to see how fast I could go upwind. You know, perfect case scenario. I was powered and on a small foil. Well, Jesus, I got worked. The gusts got crazy.
Just want to make an announcement. I'm fucking overpowered. I think I'm gonna want to fly normal. Oh my god. Never been in this situation before.
This is the first session I was getting pulled off the front of the board without being able to like compensate for the gusts. And getting back up was just comical because, you know, I'd get up and just sometimes I'd be yanked right off again and again. I tried a few different settings, moving the bridle up and down, a little more manageable power-wise when I had it up beyond the white line and the handle, but the wing definitely flew differently and funky. Getting back upwind was hard, and it took me, honestly, 45 minutes to get back upwind. That's like a half mile upwind, and granted, you know, the gusts and the holes are what made it so hard. There just wasn't any consistency to the wind, so I could literally get blown off the board and then get back up and feel like I didn't have enough to get on foil. The harness helped, but there were times where it even felt dangerous to be hooked into the harness. Want to see the Parawing do weird things? Sure, I got footage of that. I knew I'm holding it depowered, I had to. But even so, it just, you know, does some funky things in these conditions. When you relaunch this thing in crazy wings, I'm always thinking about if it's gonna load up quick and my finger's gonna get wrapped in a line and, you know, something bad will happen. Being a Parawing owner requires a cautious mindset and patience. I'm not even sure how the back lines got so twisted here. How can they twist? They started out fine, the other lines are fine. This is just an enigma to me in this session. I'm not even sure why the 5.1 looks so different compared to the 2.9. The 2.9 to me looks kind of normal. Maybe I've already blown my wing out and this is just the way it looks right now. I've seen in other videos of 4-meter Parawings and they just don't look the same way. Maybe it's just because there's more canopy material and it creases easier with the way the bridle's laid out on a bigger canopy. I don't know. So going upwind wasn't impossible, but things were gnarly out there. And this is relatively flat water. I can only imagine what it's like if you added chop and waves to the mix trying to get back to where you started. Going downwind, I mean, things worked fine, but I didn't even practice gathering and redeploying the Parawing because one, it was just too windy and it was a 5.1 meter, and two, mostly because the 880 just didn't have enough glide on the flat water to have it make sense. And three, it was just taking me forever to get back up to where I started from. I was just determined not to do the walk of shame. So if I could pick one thing that I learned in this session, it was I want to be on a foil with more glide. The 880 was just too small for flat water, and it was fine, just not necessary. So next time in the same conditions, I would totally ride the 2.9 meter in a bigger foil, and that would be just my ideal situation. Then I don't have to rely on this wing as much, and it's just easier to manage because it's a smaller wing.
I'm so pissy. I'm done. I just want to get back upwind. I've literally been trying to get back upwind for like an hour. Things get so frustrating.
So just like that, I've made it pretty much back to where I started, upwind, tired, frustrated, kind of thankful to be back on land. I made it work, but I got worked. And so, a footnote to the story, Clark enjoyed riding mine so much that he went out and purchased his Parawing that night. Parawings aren't for everyone, so it's interesting to see who gets that twinkle in their eyes on them. Somehow this mess of my lines didn't scare him away. I have no idea how it got this bad, literally between the water and the grass. I had to disconnect a few of the lines at home just to get it untangled. So these conditions definitely fall under outside of its intended use. I learned a lot in this frustrating session, but I'm still into it. I'm still gonna continue to take it out. And I do like the way it reacts with this new bridle setting. It doesn't completely remove the wonkiness, but it's definitely improved. And that's it. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to see some more of my videos and you haven't done so already, feel free to hit that subscribe button, drop me a comment, ask questions, let me know what you're up to, or just say hi. I just love interacting with you all. And with that, I hope all of you are doing well out there. See you soon on the flip, and wish you all an awesome day. Later.